What's up, everybody? Hope you're enjoying summer. We're right in the middle of it. So this episode, I get real in the beginning. Talk about some real stuff, specifically what's going on in current events. And I just share my thoughts. As an empath, I share my thoughts. So I hope it's helpful in any way. At the end of the episode, or towards the end of the episode, I review some cool gear, drum gear, and I kind of I give like little examples of what it sounds like and how to use it. And so anyway, please dive right in to BaDumBizz, episode 16. Enjoy. All right. What's up, everybody? It's Anthony Frieda here. This is BaDumBizz. This is a solo summer episode because it's July. Love summer, man. I love summer. Love the hot weather. Living in Jersey. Winter kind of sucks, to be honest. Winter's only good for holiday, man. You know, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. And then that long and lonely January, February, unless you got a significant other, and then you're not lonely for Valentine's Day. But that long and lonely winter, man, it's rough. Some years it's been rough, man, freezing. But whatever, that's not what I'm here to talk about. I guess it's been crazy. It's been a crazy couple little months here. So we're still in this pandemic thing, but yeah, man, it feels like the world's on fire, and there's chaos, and that's only from looking at social media. Now, it's interesting because while social media is awesome and a masterpiece of a tool for the world, right? For human civilization. The fact that we can communicate across the world just so easily, whether it's a text, a video, a tweet, a post, an image, or, a live stream, a podcast, right? It's amazing. But you definitely can be overwhelmed by how people choose to use these things. Humans are flawed. That's the only thing I could walk away with is humans are flawed. And, this is this thing of social media, this technology, the speed of the technology, this term instant gratification. All it really takes is certain individuals with a lack of self-awareness, disregard for how other people, think, feel, and yeah, you have some poison, in this great thing called social media. As far as, actual real issues go, I think obviously this pandemic is probably number one in terms of the danger to people, unless if you're quarantining and just being very careful with when you go to the grocery store, and you're limiting yourself still. I know it's summer. I know people want to go away on their vacations and whatever. Hey, can't really board a plane, and we're going to have to deal with that. I think you can go 1 year without going away on your vacation. If you can drive to the beach somewhere and the hotel or whatever you're staying at, maybe you have a beach house, even better. But wherever you're staying, if these places, restaurants, if they're practicing really safe protocols for this, for this pandemic to reduce the spread of the virus, go for it. You might need it. Otherwise, I think it's okay to take a year without doing what we absolutely look forward to and want to do, because the world isn't back to normal yet. And it fucking sucks. I mean, yes, it sucks. But probably doesn't suck anywhere close to having the virus and having it affecting you in the worst way. I think if you're able to complain about something, if we're able to complain about something and it's not our health from this virus, it's still a good day. You have to force that thought. And now, unless we're talking about other issues like, I've been following on and off the protests for Black Lives Matter, and it's an incredible sight to see the world exploding, citizens of the world exploding from watching the this unfortunate death of George Floyd at the hands of an police officer. Really, and he was handcuffed and in, what's it called? There were multiple officers around him, So that lit the fucking world on fire, and good. Because you know what? The more that I ponder about what reality is now versus what reality was, before the shutdown and the quarantine, I see a lot of holes in certain things that keep our lives organized. So let's just call them systems. And the way that the quarantine or this virus really was handled by the current administration, we could say, and we can make an argument, that the system in place is flawed. Because let's just say it started when this guy got into office. This administration started to determine their budget, the country's budget. And one of the things that got cut was, or had less funding, was the CDC, Center for Disease Control. Anyway, I don't want to get too fucking political here, but right there is what a bad decision. And what would be the reason for that? Is that a political reason to say fuck certain people on the other side of the aisle? Or was it, I don't really know what that does. We can use that money for this. I want to use this money for this instead. I don't know. But now we're kind of paying for that decision now. So there you go. We have a flawed system because the system didn't prioritize the health of common citizens of the United States. And I'm talking about common citizens, the people who aren't wealthy, who could just walk into any private practice or hospital and just not have to worry about the cost of the medical bill for treatment. I'm one of those people, common people, I mean. I have to worry. I don't fucking make a lot of money. So, flawed system. Back to Black Lives Matter. When people saw George Floyd die at the hands of a police officer. Well, what does the police officer represent? He represents a part of the system, law enforcement. And I think, any reaction to such a thing, whether it's obviously protest, it's a given and it's a must. A riot, to me, is even a response of fuck this system. We're going to burn it down. And while I wouldn't do that, I don't think even me being a white dude that even doesn't really matter, because I don't know what that exactly feels like. I can only try to imagine it, to watch that. It's not the only one I've seen too over the last couple of years, and talking about social media being a blessing, but also something that is sometimes too real that it's overwhelming, is these videos that we've seen of people dying in the hands of the officer, and they just happen to be black men mostly, some black women too. It's fucking, what a shame, like to see that. So when we're already in this lockdown and the world's experiencing this, wait, what? We're on hold? Wait, what am I can't go to work? How am I going to pay my bills? The system isn't working. And then you see a part of the system killing somebody who doesn't deserve to die. I mean, duh. Of course the world is going to be lit on fire. And people are going to go nuts, and they should, and we should be outraged by that. We're human and we're imperfect, but we also have, we have evolved to respond to senses of danger or senses of injustice, even a cocktail of both. And that video of George Floyd dying incited that in hopefully many of us, probably not all, unfortunately. And it's a good thing that we, and I haven't seen one day where a Black Lives Matter post about very clear-cut pieces of historical evidence to promote I guess we could say promote the idea that Black Americans have been, without a doubt, oppressed since they were brought here. That's the word, brought here. And that is a whole history of slavery that is just so complex and packed. And you this is where, again, social media is great, where we can document everything. I can go to the store as an influencer. I'm not an influencer, fuck that. But I'm just saying, if I were, I can go to I'm going to the gym today. What's up, guys? And I'm taking a selfie video, and that's documented forever, I guess. But we don't have these. We only have stories, and we have limited documentation of what the slave era was like in America. And it's horrific. But I didn't learn about those horrific details in school. Broken system, flawed system right there. We should be. I've had the Holocaust shoved down my throat so much, actually, even starting in elementary school all the way up to the probably freshman year in high school. I mean, there was a play that I remember doing in 6th grade. I wasn't in it, but kids would do like the Anne Frank play or whatever. And it's an important lesson to shove into the young minds. I think slavery in America and like the details of it, the gruesome details of it, I think is just, if not more important. Because I have this belief that if you're living in a country, or you're born in a country especially, and you haven't had adversity because of race or religion or whatever. And I'm one of these people. I haven't had any adversity. I think I should have to take ownership of my country's history. And what that means, ownership just means I have to know it, and I have to accept that my country was and may still be flawed. Part of like being patriotic is, I believe it makes sense to me, you're still patriotic if you're criticizing your country. And it's not that you're criticizing your country as an idea. You're criticizing the people running it or the people that ran it because you're angry. It could have been better and it could be better if things were different. There's nothing wrong with that. That's completely still patriotic. So these have been my thoughts since, the world was lit on fire. And I'm still, you're on edge every day to wake up and scroll through your feed on social media to see what the fuck happened today. At the same time, though, I will say all of these, there's so many more issues that are happening that people are posting about. And it's good that it's happening, even if some of them seem a little over the top or not that necessary to really squeeze into the main news feed for the day. However, it's good that all of these things are happening, but they're all happening all at once. And we're dealing with them all at once. And the one thing I keep telling myself is, when I'm feeling this, oh God, things are just so fucking crazy right now. I feel anxious all the time. I wish I could go back. I wish I felt what it was like then, back in the past, right? Well, I keep telling myself that these issues were under the bed, tucked away, even then. And we're dealing with them now. And we could have been dealing with them this entire time, but not all at once like now. So that helps me kind of get through, like, this is the new reality. And here's what another belief that also really helps me is, and I'm going to say this when it comes to, look, human civilization proves every day that we're getting better, we're getting smarter, we're getting kinder, more helpful towards one another, a lot more self-aware, conscientious. Now, this isn't every single human being, but the data proves that humans are evolving faster than ever. May not feel like that, but it's because we've come online. That's why it doesn't feel like that. We are smarter. And we develop faster than the world develops, if that makes sense. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, things like even race relations or racial issues, those things are going to be in the past. We are going to have mixed race babies, and we're going to see a lot more of it. And guess what? Good. It's fucking beautiful that's the way it should be. And I hate using should and shouldn't, but I should say, there's another should. How about this? I'll say ideal. The ideal is that people will just live together. And yes, those cultural differences are still there. And you can't say I'm colorblind. That's so stupid. But because it's good to acknowledge those cultural differences, right? Or the uniqueness of certain cultures. And you just include that in your life as an individual, and you share that with others who don't share that, who don't come from that culture. And that is beautiful. And then, man, you can talk about, I love talking about food, but, certain flavors, when they are fused with other flavors, it is an amazing experience of flavor. And I say experience because it's overwhelming to the senses in a good way. So I think not to not to compare people to food, but I guess that's how I see it. It's just beauty, man. It tells me that humans are supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be doing that. There wasn't a designed reason for us to separate ourselves, you know. And you see that with kids, young kids. They don't have hate. They're not born with hate. That's learned. That's a learned idea. You know, racism, bigoted thoughts, prejudice, those are all learned. And it's an unfortunate thing that it's going to be there for some time still. But we are on the verge of, we're going to get there where we want, where we don't have to worry about as like we're going to get there. It actually might not happen maybe in our lifetimes. Maybe it will take longer than we want. But I guess what makes me feel better is it will get there. Data shows that it's going to happen. You can't you can't stop it from happening, and that's great. That makes me feel really good. And how can I help it? You know, and I always think that, how can I help it? And the only way I could think of is just have conversations with people who question these moments of outrage and the response to these moments of outrage with protesting and even rioting, and who talk not against it, but the ones who talk against it, and just try to be objective, try to remove emotion from what you're saying, find out what they actually mean. And then here's the big one, because I'm a teacher, you have to sort of guide somebody into information. And you do that by asking questions. You know, you stimulate their brain rather than try to force an idea. You try not to take personally what things that they might say that, man, might be like offensive. I can do that as a white dude. Like that's I guess what I've been thinking about lately is when I see some racist shit that somebody's sharing and the purpose of sharing it is, look at this piece of shit racist person who treated somebody like this, and we're doing that to kind of like show this, we're not tolerating this anymore. Like, this is absolutely not tolerated, and you know, and it is a good thing. It's understandable, right? But I do see, I see a lot of people who are also white who post things like that, or maybe they'll respond to somebody on social media who are kind of being a little bit, they're being resistant. And I see these like arguments happening in the comments section, and then all of a sudden I see a white person calling somebody a racist, another white person a racist. And I right there, you know what? I thought, that's not helpful. Like, as a white dude, that for me to have an emotional response and to lash out by calling somebody a racist actually doesn't do anything. Right? Doesn't do anything. It's almost like me exercising a sense of a feeling of rage, inner rage, and I'm using that moment to do it. And I would rather help. So I guess in that sense, especially if it were it was in person, I don't think I would do it online. But you talk. Again, you try to remove, it's hard, but you try to remove your emotion, you be objective about it. And you just, I can only attempt to guide that person into information that stimulated my brain into like a more optimistic, a more positive, a sense of reality based. And you use history, evidence of history, historical facts. And, my goal can't be to change their mind. My goal can only be to inform them, and then they can do what they want from there. But for me to go and have an emotional reaction being a white dude, it doesn't help. So I'd rather be of help. These are the things I've been pondering. That's why I really haven't done a solo episode. I haven't been in the mindset to get behind a mic, and because I knew that this was going to come out, and I wanted to have things thought out before I just rambled. And I think I'm being pretty clear, And one thing that I will say that I hope calms itself down is this idea of being very critical over language, exact sentences and descriptions. Like, I think that people are not going to be perfect about how they talk about things. And if, again, by trying to be objective and just sort of put a blanket over our emotions and just listen to what somebody says, listen, try to find the intent behind what they're saying, find the meaning behind the words. Sometimes the words, that's another thing. Broken system, going back to a broken system. Our education system's not great. So I've had to refine my, the way I dictate myself, the way I speak over the years. And how they have that Facebook memory, and you posted this 12 years ago in 2000, whatever. And I'm in my, fuck man. I'm in my early 20s, and I say something, and I look at my grammar, the way I said it, and I was like, oh shit, man, what a dummy. That's my first, thought, of course. Not a great thought, but that's an example of, I guess, a broken system. Because you go through 12 years of public schooling, and if I can't speak clearly and communicate what I'm trying to, what I intend to, I don't know. That to me is just what a broken system. But hey, that's also on me, the individual, which is why I've over the years changed that, try to get better at it. So I hope that this obsession to call out people for the exact words that they say, I hope people can calm that down, because you actually might not be helping by doing that at all. You want allies, and if somebody's trying, that's good. What might be helpful is if somebody says something, not in the exact way, but the idea is sort of there, just, hey, listen, hey, I love what you're trying to do here. Please read this article, or read this document that, depicts a time in history during, this is the perspective of, please read this. I think you'd appreciate this. That goes such a long way, because you've what you really want to do is, I know that people want to challenge. That's what they want to change, right? But by criticizing somebody and calling out their error, you're not really challenging them to change. You're challenging them, and they're either going to retreat, or they're going to feel something, some sort of exposure, right? And that exposure could lead to some sort of shame, guilt, right? Which could lead to a retreat. Okay, fuck you, I'm not going to even talk to you. Or a sense of fight or flight, right? Isn't that the idea? Which then now you've caused friction, and friction, right, creates a spark. Sparks create a fire or an explosion. So, you know, nobody's going to be, you know what? That's the best thing that helps me too right now is nobody's going to be perfect right now. Nobody. Because guess what? We're in a pandemic. Nobody's at their best right now. Unless they're extremely, extremely focused individuals who are able to get themselves up every day at 5 or 6 a.m. and do a workout for a couple hours or whatever. Eat very well. I mean, those individuals, I clap for them. But we're all not like that. Could we get there? Sure. But there are other problems in the way of us getting there. You know, it's a lot of psychological issues or internal beliefs. And for whatever reason, those people were able to cut through all that shit, or maybe there wasn't a lot of it there, or maybe they've found a way to fuel that intensity, and that's great for them. Not everybody's like that, so not everybody's perfect right now. So to expect perfection is it's unrealistic, and you're only setting yourself up to be not rejection, but you're going to be disappointed. So, all right, enough of that. Thanks for listening to that. All right, I'll maybe do a couple more minutes of this, maybe 20 more minutes of this. I don't know. I just kind of wanted to do a solo-ish episode and touch base, whatever that word means. So I have some trinkets and stuff and behind my kit and here and cool sounds. I got this thing. I'm going to talk about some products here. I got this when it came out, actually, the Yamaha EAD 10. Explain what it is. It would be great if I had a camera here. Oh well, but it's two devices. One is a brain. It's like think of it like when you play an electronic drum set, that thing on the side that you control the sounds with, the volume, all that stuff. So you have something like that, which you plug into that these triggers. A trigger is something that hooks onto your drum, and they have a way of it, something that touches the head of the drum. When you play the drum, the vibration is sent into the brain, and then the brain triggers a sample. So I'll give you an example of this. So right now I'm just hitting the button on the brain, but my bass drum is triggered. It has this trigger on it, and you should hear that, hopefully. I think actually probably going to really hear it with this one. There it is. Some 808. There it is. So cool. And I also have so cool. So cool. I love it. So that's, yeah. I mean, I have like this little mini kind of snare drum thingy thing that I tuned up really high. And I have a trigger on it, but I'll be honest with you, the trigger doesn't fucking really fit on it for some reason. So the only way I'm getting that sound is I'm hitting it actually works out really nicely because I like this sound by itself. And then if I hit the rim of it, I get that sound from the trigger. Now, if I can, it's hard to get a rim shot on this little tiny thing, but I mean, I kind of get a little bit of both, but either way, it's pretty cool. So like, I've been messing around with certain beats lately, like. fucking it up, but that's kind of what I've been messing around with lately with these sounds. All right, I have another, and you can customize these sounds, by the way, and I'll go through some of the templates that they have, like presets, I mean. But here's kind of like electronic house. So here's the sound by itself with the bass drum. Pretty cool, right? Now I got both, and then what do I have here? And some weird white noise sound like. How's it going on there a little bit? It's fun. It's really fun. Yeah, fucking around. Let's see the next one I have. Yeah, another kind of 808 thing. A little shorter. What do I have here? Oh, that's cool. Fucking around. Okay. Pretty cool, though. I like it. There's a little mini gong here, by the way. There's a little kind of thing. It's like a mild thing. Piece of metal on top of a piece of metal that's ridged. Whatever. I don't remember what it's called. But yeah. Clap stack here. Right. Little mini hi-hats. Very cool, man. Cool stuff. And I think last custom thing I have here for the EAD. Yeah, this is more of a hip-hop thing, right? Very cool. I think, is that it? Yeah, that's it. And there's so many sounds. You know, and you can load your own sounds on here with, I think, an SD card, which is so cool. So that means you could purchase one of those sample packs. I mean, you could even do this on a gig. Like, this is what's really cool about the technology. That's, I think, and this is going back to the beauty of social media. We're able to communicate directly to these companies that make these products, right, as drummers. And because they're able to get so much response, comments, emails from people, and also, too, just the camaraderie online with sharing, hey, check out this fucking video I did. I'm playing this beat. Cool, great. And then you have followers, and you have all these different drummers that people follow. then you have endorsements with these products. These companies are more motivated to create something that, like, now that they can investigate, okay, what are people asking for? So I think, anyway, to tie this around, I think this product is in that vein, because when you're playing a live show, sometimes you can't mic up. It just doesn't make sense to mic up a drum. But it may not be like, let's see, it may not be, what is it? It's hard to get a good sound, let's just say, with whatever the room that the sound system is in, and it's just hard to get a very good drum sound. So there's a lot of tweaking the entire night. That on part of the sound guy, and the drummer has to be incredibly consistent with how they hit the drum. So one thing that aids such a performance, like let's just say it's an entertainment gig, it's a wedding, or it's a cover, whatever. These triggers and this type of system here, I should also say this too. Let me put it to a test. I should have said this. This EAD thing is really cool because it has, let's see. Oh yeah, it's loud. It has like two stereo mics, or it has a pair of stereo mics on in the capsule that the trigger's in, and it's on top. So it sits on the lip of your bass drum. So it triggers the bass drum on the bottom end, and on the top you could see the vents for the microphones, and it picks up like a circular direction or spherical direction around the kit. So it'll pick up the hi-hat and the cymbal and the whatever, but also the toms and the snare. What I'll try to do is right here, if I'm listening to this edit, I'll play a little bit and I'll edit out the mics that are around my kit right now, and I'll just show what it sounds like with just the mics, the two little mics in this little capsule, just to hear the quality and what you could do with it. But by the way, and I should also add this, you can take that audio from those two mics, and they have effects. You can put compression. They have some weird things here. I actually don't use the effects that much, but they have a reverb thing too. So let's see. Yeah. And you can go and you could edit which reverb you have. So this is on Hall. No triggers. Studio. Let's see. Room. Similar, right? And there's how much reverb. You can only do a little bit if you want, Let's see what else we got. So if you're doing live sound, basically, you're playing a live gig, and you have live sound, you have this thing with triggers on you could do triggers on every drum. I think it has like 6 inputs or something like that. Can't really do the cymbals. That's the only thing, unless you're really slick and you build your own fucking thing. And I'm just not slick like that. But you trigger each drum. Let's say you have rack tom, floor tom, snare, kick. So there's 4 triggers going into this thing. With that stereo mic that's there, that stereo mic picks up the cymbals and stuff, but also picks up the other sounds too. You have a really good and clean sound coming into that system, and you could balance the triggers versus the mic. That's so cool. And you can add a little reverb to it. You can make custom presets. I used to do this on the weddings, and I would trigger certain sounds, and I would have like a club dance music custom thing, and I would have one more for hip hop. I would have one more for rock. Like it would have. There's actually a preset here. I'll see if I can find it. Yeah, it's called Arena. I'm going to take my fat snare things off here. And let's hear what this sounds like without any major muffling. That is getting a little, but that's so cool. What's the effect? They have so many cool. What's this? Oh yeah, this is phaser. Yeah, it's weird. I don't like it, but it's a thing. Let's dance. Yeah, so many cool presets here. Reverse gate. Yeah, weird. Oh, they have a delay. So, what else they got? Flange. That's cool. So that's straight up compression and some shit. So cool. I actually didn't know that was on there. It's called Dirty, the preset. That's cool. So this is called Fat Splat. I guess it gives some sort of effect to give some like bite to your drums. Oh, 1985. Yeah, interesting. So anyway, Yamaha EAD10. If I can remember again, if I'm listening to the edit, Ant, please edit out the mics around the kit. Thanks. Okay. All right, so that was that product. Yeah, I guess I only have one other product to speak highly of. I found these things on Amazon. Sometimes when you go on Amazon, you look for certain things. You'll see these items pop up that are like, oh, you might be interested in this. And I found, like, I think I've talked about the rim riser, which is this thing here. I've mentioned it before. I play it a lot, actually, and I have it on multiple snares. It just is a little wedge of rim that is on top of your rim that it's basically to elevate the stick so you don't have a flip. It's so fucking hard to do this with a camera. To talk about this, go look it up. Rim riser, I highly recommend it. I use that as a little clap effect thing. It's cool. Way to go, rim riser guys. All right. So anyway, so just like I found the rim riser, I found this CymbalReins, REINS, CymbalReins. What it is, it's pretty brilliant. So drummers will put tape on their cymbals. Like usually underneath on a little tiny strip going from the bell, very thin strip, and just to kind of tame the wash, the resonance. It gets sometimes like too much for a certain room, especially when you're playing some jazz or whatever, or just really light. And you have to play so light. So this, the thing about putting the tape on the cymbals is sometimes it's not ideal because when you put when you put too much tape on, it's great to ride, especially for ride cymbals. It might sound really good, but you can't crash on it or whatever because it's just too muted, And then you're stuck with that. These are cool. These CymbalReins, what they are is it's like these little plastic clips, but they have felt around them. And think of them like they lip onto the cymbal, right? About maybe an inch onto the cymbal, and they hang off of the cymbal. There's plenty of space and a little gap. And the reason for that is they're tied together, these three plastic clips here, and they're on the cymbal. They're tied together, right? You're supposed to actually turn the cymbal upside down, put these things on, and then you can control the tightness. What it does and what it's designed to do, and I immediately, when I saw the product, I was like, I know what that does. And then thankfully the guy who makes the products, shout out to him. I mean, great, really good idea. I watched the videos that he has on his YouTube page for the product, and I was like, I have the theory for what this is supposed to do, and I was right by the videos, which is, and it really works for crashes. So we don't want to cut off vibration totally. What we really want to do is we want to tame the vibration. So lightly tame it as the cymbal continues to move. So when you hit a crash like this, we want a sharp attack, right? And we kind of want it to go away. What happens though is the cymbals will ring like, and especially in a tiny room or a smaller space. So what these CymbalReins do is it doesn't completely cut off vibration because the cymbal it's circular, so it's going to radiate throughout the edge from the center to the edge out the cymbal, especially while it's moving. We don't want to cut off vibration. So these little lip things do is they just tame it down as the cymbal is moving, and you get your and then it gently takes away that excess. We'll call it excess resonance. It's brilliant. I mean, you can hear it. If I take the thing off, I mean, I don't fucking want to take it off because that's the only thing you can't really take it off easily, but you don't need to, and you can adjust this thing very easily. I have it on my ride too. Now I'll say this about the ride: it's good. It takes some getting used to because I'm still getting nice resonance from the ride. But I'm using a thin ride, 20-inch Artisan Sabian thing, which does tend to resonate, and because it's thin, it has a lot of wash. This cuts out a lot of the wash. It's great. The attack is it's really beautiful. I still expect it to resonate more because of how much tone and resonance I'm getting with each strike. It's weird. And one other thing that I notice about this CymbalReins is, and this is something that the guy, I imagine the guy thought about this, and, it's like there are certain things you can't get around, is the gravity effect. So if you slant your cymbal towards you a little bit on a down pitch angle, you have to think about how many, like on the top side of, because there's 3 points, right? Think of a triangle, but on a circle. You could do you could do an upside down triangle. So then you have 2 clips on the top side of the cymbal and 1 at the bottom. But if you have a down pitched angle cymbal, that means that those clips are going to be really almost like resting on the edge of the cymbal. So you want to then flip it and have a regular triangle. So 1 clip at the top, 2 at the other 2 corners at the bottom. But it still does a lot of resonance, a lot of, dampening. So again, I probably have to play with it a lot more. Now, I use thinner cymbals. If you use thicker cymbals and they have a lot of resonance to them, this is perfect, especially crashing. I know that Sabian came out with that product, the FXS, FHS, something like that product, where they drilled like hundreds of holes, in certain areas of the cymbal to eliminate frequencies that are just annoying to most rooms, especially smaller ones. And I've played them actually, and they're brilliant. They're really brilliant. They're expensive, and if you think about what's the reason to cut out and eliminate, what would be the reason to cut out and eliminate frequencies, and to make it easier to listen to cymbals in a rehearsal? Probably organizations, bands, whatever, that don't have a lot of money. So therefore, this expensive product is outside of the price range, right? It hits the nail of what the necessity is, but it's a little too expensive. So this is like a great first choice, I'll say. Do this one first. It's like $25 for the thing. He gives you even like a little Ziploc bag to store it in. It's great. It's fantastic. So I'm enjoying it. I think as far as the ride, I have to play with it a little more. And you know what? It actually makes me think maybe I'll add some what's it called? Oh, that's a little better. I took one of the lips off, so now I have two of them on. Oh, that's a lot better. And I was going to say, maybe I can add like a little chain for some sizzle. With this product, I think this is great. Simple. It's just simple, easy products. I think those Drumgees, I'm using those right now, actually. I think those are brilliant, too. So simple. Just like little rope with little clips that they clip onto the edge on the rim of your drums. And it's almost like a bungee cord going across your drum. And what it's supposed to do is when you want to put things on your drum, a lot of drummers like to put things like little bells or something, kind of like these little tiny bells on the drum. But they move when you play. But it gets you a cool sound. So these Drumgees things help kind of keep, when it lays across the cymbal, it kind of holds it in place. I mean, you could do it. There's so many other things you could do. I've seen people do these little mini gongs, which is cool. You get really cool sounds, actually. Turn it upside down. But it's in place. It's not moving. I don't have to manage it. And you could do that even with those those tambourine things that you put on the hi-hat. A lot of drummers do that. They'll put them, but again, it moves. So these Drumgees, these little bungee cords, keep it in place. Brilliant. Lot of very thoughtful inventions happening, being nowadays. So. Thank you to all of you. I'll say all those companies again. CymbalReins, REINS, Rim Riser, Drumgees. It's like bungee, but DRUM, drum, GEES, G's, Drumgees. What else? Do I use any other little products? Oh, like Big Fat Snare Drum. Have to shout them out. And then Drum Tortillas, the cloth, circular cloth that sits on your drum to mute it and give you a nice fat sound. Yeah, man. So many cool things. And yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for listening to this episode. I really do hope you enjoyed it. Or I hope it was helpful. Please feel free to email me. Email the show, BaDumBizz@gmail.com. Any questions you might have. Maybe I'll do a shout out. I don't know. I guess that's what podcasters do. Yeah. Or if you find, I'm a drummer and I love finding new trinkets, new products, send me links to things that, hey, check out this check out this new piece of gear. All right, or check out this cymbal company. I'm all for that. All right, everybody, stay safe, and BaDumBizz to you. Take care.